Welcome to On Target Radio, Segment 6, where just because the show ends doesn't mean the conversation stops. Now here's your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to Segment 6, where we're not exactly certain what we talk about. We cover stuff that we didn't have time to cover on the show, and we were struggling a little bit to try and decide what exactly we're going to call this Segment 6. And I think maybe the answer is surveillance, government surveillance. Triggered by an article, the title of which was FBI Behind Mysterious Surveillance Aircraft Over U.S. Cities. And in the past 30 days, was it? They did, how many cities? It was...
recent 30-day period, 30 cities and 11 states.
30 cities and 11 states across the country, they have flown their Cessnas, their single-engine Cessnas. I think it's a 210, looks like one. That's irrelevant. The first question I have is, why does the FBI have an Air Force?
Well, it's not irrelevant if you see a mysterious plane circling over your neighborhood, which is what they're describing.
Which is what they're talking about.
Right.
Right.
If you see a Cessna 210 circling over your neighborhood, it might be the FBI surveilling you.
Or he could be watching the black SUV that parked out in front of my house with the tinted windows, looking at me through binoculars.
They could be, talking to each other.
Now you just raised my threat level. 2 colors.
I think they're sharing information. The guy in the SUV is saying, "This is what I see. What do you see?" And the guy in the airplane.
I see a thermal image of a guy running around in his house collecting metal objects.
Load and make ready.
I have no idea what that SUV was about. That was very bizarre.
Did you say you saw it again?
Well, I saw it pass by.
Did you get the plate number?
No.
It probably doesn't have plates. That's highly suspicious.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It was very freaky. After all of for probably the better part of 2.5 years, I have joked about, I've said this for literally a lot. There's a black SUV with tinted windows parked in front of my house 24 hours a day, jokingly, just joking. And then I go out one day, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, it was a little longer than that, but yeah.
And he's there.
Yeah.
He's like 2 houses south of me, across the street, I look in the front windshield, he's holding binoculars and he's looking in my direction.
It's our buddy from Crete.
That's a possibility. Could be, you never know. Maybe he works for them, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now to make it
You never know.
weirder, I get in my car and I look up there at him and he's like that at me. I think I'm listening to my radio show too much, okay? That's what crosses my mind.
I'm getting into my own head.
Exactly. I'm starting to believe all this stuff. So I get in my car and I drive up the street, and it's bothering me. It's just gnawing at me. So I decide I'm going to come up behind him. So I go all the way around, right? I have to go, it's a couple of miles to get all the way around.
It's not just a block, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a simple block. To come up behind him, he's gone. He apparently left as soon as I did. And now the other day, I saw him go by slowly. I couldn't tell if he was looking at me or not because he's got tinted windows.
Right.
But it was, I'm sure it's the same SUV.
There's like one time I was speaking to someone who told me he worked for DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Yeah. And then like a week or 2 after that, there was an unmarked car parked in my neighbor's driveway. And as soon as I came out and like looked at them, they peeled out and drove off. So same thing, like it made me really, really uncomfortable that I was being surveilled.
Yeah, they don't just use SUVs though, they use a lot of Dodge Caravans.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how I know that.
The Naperville Narcotics Unit has a white Honda Odyssey and a bunch of other just random assorted minivans.
A lot of them are confiscated.
Yeah, I know that about another branch of federal law enforcement too.
But it's freaky.
They use random vehicles so that they blend in.
Yeah.
It's still different because they can offset the window tint, because the window tint would look a little more odd. If you have a white vehicle, for example, it would stand out more to you.
Right, yeah.
So now, there's airplanes flying over, they don't tell us why. And the most interesting thing about this, and you made this point, Brian, is they're not hiding it. And yet...
And they say it's not a secret.
They say it's not a secret, and yet they have 13 fake front companies that they list these airplanes to, so no one will know that they're FBI airplanes. That's not secret?
Yeah.
And they don't want.
Why not just register them to the FBI if it's not a secret?
And they don't want the Associated Press to reveal the names of the fake companies because they have to change them. That
Right.
seems to me
And they
pretty secret.
they mentioned four of them, so now they have to replace
Now they gotta replace them.
four of their fake
I
companies.
would go home being.
I wonder how many tax dollars are gonna be spent on that.
Oh,
A
God.
few,
Yeah.
I'm sure a few.
I'm gonna tell you, the cheapest part of an airplane is buying it. That's when it gets expensive, really expensive. So, and even a small plane like that is not cheap to operate. And you're paying for it. I was telling Gretchen earlier today about surveillance. The military satellites can zoom down on a crowd and
Right.
literally pick out a face
Yeah.
and run facial recognition through it.
Look at the Google, what we can do with that. Just
Google
at home.
Earth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But they could do that for
That's
a long
super
time. I
creepy.
mean,
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
talked to someone that supposed to work for CIA years ago that was talking about this. We did satellite surveillance, and you could zoom in on all this stuff and just see it. And this was years ago. He's an older guy, so you know.
it's been something they've been doing for a long time. They just, Patriot Act, they canned it finally, and everybody goes, oh,
Oh,
thank God.
good.
And replaced it
Yeah.
with, what do they call it? The
Freedom.
Act.
Freedom Act,
It's
Patriot
ironic.
Act on steroids is
which,
what it is.
what it does, it's really funny, because it's a joke, except it's not.
Right.
They go, Patriot Act was wrong, because it was illegal wiretapping. You can't do that, it's against the law.
The government was not supposed to collect all that data.
Right.
They were not supposed to be bulk data
It's wrong,
collecting.
it's bad.
They're like, okay, the
Now we'll
telecom
create a new
companies have
act
to do
that
it.
makes it legal. So they're still doing
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just they got the phone companies doing it for them, and they have the right to contact the phone company and say, give me the material.
Mhm.
Well, how's that different? They're saving on storage space.
Yeah, it's just cost cutting.
Everything we do, email, phone conversations, they're flying overhead, not taking pictures, I don't know. Where it's, am I getting paranoid here?
Yeah,
No.
it says
No.
that these planes, they have unusual antennas under the fuselage and a camera on the left side. And they use technology that mimics cell phone towers, and it gets phones to reveal basic subscriber information. So they ping the phone so that it will send back information about whose phone it is.
Are they gonna pay my bill? What are they
Yeah,
gonna do with
I wish.
subscriber information? Let's change them from Words with Friends to another game? I mean, what do they do
Well, I
with
think they're probably locating people. Is probably what they're doing. Would be my guess.
Then-
They're looking for someone specific. Would be
Yeah.
my guess.
And I don't know if you noticed, but iPhones track your location. They marked it
it? You
as.
can turn it off, though.
They can, but a lot of people didn't know that. It's supposedly learning your locations to make navigation and all that
Yeah, yeah,
easier,
yeah, right.
but
Blah blah
Right,
blah.
yeah.
Sure.
Well,
It's
yeah.
two things.
Now, here's an interesting thing that happened last week. You remember how it was in all the papers that the feds were saying to the OEMs, the manufacturers of iPhone and all that, we want a back door, okay? We want a back door into all these devices. And when they balked at that, then they started on the litany, there should be no encryption at all.
Yeah, then just don't encrypt.
No
it at all.
encryption, okay? And of course, they balked at that. Now, the Chinese apparently hacked into the US computer system. Did you read this? The federal computer system, and got all federal employees' data. And they're going, we need more encryption on these things. We need more encryption.
14 million employees. The number originally started off as like 3 or 4 million, and then
Yeah.
it went up to 14 million once they
Oh,
found
yeah.
out
I did hear about
the
that.
magnitude.
Now suddenly they're going, we need more encryption.
That's always been the biggest knock against our country as a whole, is their cybersecurity is a joke.
It
The
is.
biggest thing that's stopping people from doing it is the force of our military, but the Chinese did it under
The
our
Chinese
noses.
could care less.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
but
they're not
it's nutso.
our infrastructure in terms of cybersecurity is an absolute joke.
It worries me that they might convince manufacturers to put back doors in all these devices. Because, talking about invasion of privacy, it says right in here that the FBI does not consider flying over your home and videotaping you a violation of anyone's privacy. Now, it is a fact that you can take pictures from the street. Where the line is you can't go on somebody's property You can't, like, I can't walk up to your window and videotape you through the window. But if standing on the public sidewalk, I can see through your window, I can videotape you. I can audio tape you if I
Well,
want.
it's not just the government. Google does that. When you drive by with the little
Well,
car.
and that's it. They go drive by this little car with the camera and stuff,
I see.
and they're taking, have you
And
seen
also
those?
those, no, I haven't, but, and also those private companies that are videotaping all the license plates.
With the license plate stuff.
Yeah,
Everybody's like collecting data.
Right.
yeah. It's very disturbing. It's very, very disturbing. Actually, you know, it actually puts me in mind of a conversation I had with a friend of mine this week, and she was giving me a hard time about a legislative issue that's coming before the Will County Board, and her literal words were, "You have to do something about this." And I said, "What do you want me to do?" And she was basically saying I needed to give my constituents more access to me, that I needed to, like, you know, pick up the, you know, I needed to answer their phone calls and things like that. And I said, there's a reason why I got a separate cell phone number and a P.O. box when I got elected. And this is what we're talking about. I mean, it's not so much that I'm afraid of my constituents. I'm afraid of, you know, everything. I'm afraid of, like, the possibilities.
You never know.
Of, I don't want people to know where I live, and I
Another
don't want.
Harvey Milk.
Right, exactly. I just don't want people to know where I live. I
Right.
don't want to be that easy to find.
No, I agree with you. Unfortunately, I'm easy to find. I don't know. Maybe you have any other pithy thoughts on this subject? It's not as if we solved anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, does anybody have any ideas of how we can be safer?
Learn to shoot shotgun and be like pulling trap.
Oh,
Oh!
that's true. There was the guy who had that video
That'd be
about
awesome.
that, about someone was spying on him, I think, with the drone.
Yeah, he shot it.
Shot it, and then they supposedly were making it up saying, "Oh no, he was doing that himself or whatever." I don't
There
know the
was,
story, but
did you know in Colorado, you can buy a drone hunting permit?
oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
I
there's a
think it's just
county in
hysterical. Yeah, that's one way to deal with it.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A little
But-
harder to shoot down a Cessna.
I was
If it comes on your property, does hovering on your property count?
No,
I don't think
the government controls air.
Of course,
You
know,
don't control
you
the
gotta
air.
consider the laws too. You can't just discharge a fire.
Well, I was gonna
urban
say,
areas,
you're gonna get charged with a negligent discharge
Depending where
if
you
you've
are.
got a neighbor.
If you're in the country, you
Right,
can shoot, but I don't think you can shoot aircraft. That's the law against that,
right.
federal law. There's a federal law against being on the ground and shining a laser.
Laser, yeah.
Right,
If you're shooting a shotgun at them, I'm pretty sure there's something that covers that.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay, well, not that we solved anything, but we had a pithy discussion on the subject. Maybe in the future we ought to plan how we can solve stuff.
There you go.
There you
Staff
go.
that, staff that.
Brian, it's on you.
Alright.
Intern guy's
Yeah.
gonna staff how we
Yep.
can solve stuff. It can't involve,
Let's ask the 20-year-old to solve
Yeah.
the nation's
Hey, he's
problems.
the future.
solutions cannot involve alcohol, drugs, or firearms, the solution stuff,
We
okay?
just eliminated
Firearms.
1/3 of the options.
It's like
and
all
The
the
alcohol and,
solutions.
the
are right
alcohol and
there.
drugs I can
That's-
deal with, but
I've always thought it's a great irony that there's a federal agency for firearms, you know,
Alcohol,
tobacco, firearms, and
and
explosives.
explosives now.
To me, that's a frat party.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
just a real good
Yeah.
time right there.
All right, that was segment 6 for tonight, talking about surveillance. Stay tuned for next on Target Radio. We'll cover the red meat issues that affect your life.